So let's go ahead and just start off by taking these screws out. Be nice to give yourself maybe a little cup to hold all your little screws and bolts. Now that the plastic bottom is off, we can set this to the side. And as you can see, we have our cushion fully exposed, have our staples running around the whole side. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace this original cover again with our Evolution cover. So to save yourself some time, you can go ahead and cut using a box cutter or any other blade of that sort right along the outside of these staples instead of pulling them individually one by one. All right, so now that we've cut the cover off, we're gonna go ahead and take it off the cushion. And I just wanna double check to make sure that I have it the right way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this back up here. Make sure, see where this sits into place. It's 2 screws. Okay, there we go. All right. So just to help you, to keep a reference, you can always tell by the hip restraints. You can also tell by right here where these screws sit, how they just slide right in there. Oops. All right. So now that we know which way the cushion sits, you can use a marker, a pen, or anything to kind of just give you a guide, a direction to where your stitching is gonna go. So it's gonna be running like this. All right, and also to create a point of reference, it'd also be a good idea to get yourself a tape measure in hand. Measure from the bottom plastic of the seat. So what I'll be doing is I'm gonna measure from right here, and I'm gonna go up 14 inches. Right here. And this will be my line of reference. And I'll explain that shortly. Okay, right there. So whenever we do place it on the cushion, this line will be your guide for the main insert pattern right here. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and place our cover over our cushion. Doesn't take much to get it over it. All right, now we can flip it over. And we can go ahead and start working it into place. As you can see, I'm just going around all corners, applying a little pressure just to get the cushion to set right there in that cover. Flip it over, get an idea if we need to make a little shift where we need to pull. As you can see on this side, I'm gonna have to pull this way a little bit more as we start to staple around the cushion. We'll go ahead and work those kinks out as we go. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to look at my cover, and I see exactly where this piping needs to rest is right here. So I know that my pull is gonna have to come from this direction and to keep it tight. Y'all see that? See how I rest right there? That's exactly where I need my piping. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put a couple placement staples just so it can hold its shape. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work the other end. Let's go to this side. Again, apply a little pressure. I can see where my pool needs to be. We want to get our piping, again, resting right there on that edge. A lot of this stuff is just kind of gauging the strength, the amount of pressure that you're gonna need to have to get that straight line. All right. See how that's straight? Perfect. All right. So now, once we have that into place, we want to go ahead and work on all of our seams. So your seams, again, are right here. Where your stitching is at right here. You're here. Anywhere there's a line, there's gonna be your seams. So we're gonna start tackling those one by one. Remember to keep pressure on your pool because you want to keep the cover tight. So there we go. We don't want there to be any slack. You'll notice as I continue to put my cover on that I'm going to be alternating back and forth. And I do that just so I can go ahead and keep a pretty good consistent flow. Because if I were just to continue to run along this side alone, then this side is going to be pulled a little too further in. So this is good. Getting close to where we're finishing all of our seams. All right, y'all. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna go ahead, and it really doesn't matter what side of the cushion that you start with, but we're just gonna go ahead and, so I'm gonna start with this corner, and I'm gonna work all the way in one direction around the seat. All right, and that's it, y'all. Okay, so now, once we have our cover stapled on our cushion, we want to go ahead and we want to reinstall the cushion back on our plastic seat base. Your seams, your stitching will always go towards the back side of the cart. We're going to go ahead and install our top cover on the top part of our cushion for the Evolution cart. So let's begin by taking the screws out. And then just 4 of them. All right. Once we take our screws out, put our plastic back to the side. Again, we're gonna take the original cover off, save yourself some time. Go ahead, use a box cutter, razor blade, anything of that nature. And you just start cutting around the outside of those staples. Cool. All right, so once we have our cover off, again, we expose the cushion. We get our Evolution cover. Remember, your stitch lines are going to connect with the bottom part of your seat. So there should be a solid flow all the way through. Perfect. Again, much like the base, we're going to go ahead and start on the sides. We see where our piping needs to land on that straight edge right there. Apply some pressure until you get your piping exactly where you want. And just put a couple staples just to hold it into place. Cool, got that. Same thing on this side. Apply that pressure. Get it to hold into place. Again, now what you want to do is you want to go seam for seam. One staple should be enough. This is just to hold the cushion, or the cover into place. Again, you can see I'm alternating back and forth. Now that we have all of our primary staples on the seams, then we're going to go ahead, again, your point of choosing, and work your way around the edge of the cushion. So at the center, your pull is going to come towards the top, right in the middle. This way you can go ahead and get the slack out, and then you can pull from this direction over here and this direction over here to get the rest of your wrinkles out. And that is it, y'all. All we have to do now is you're gonna put your plastic cover back over, put the screws back in, and you're good.